What are we about? Well, there's me, and then there's a mic. But really, this is a podcast where you get to hear Nigerians' reality. I have a mic will focus on issues I feel strongly about and give stories and reflections from my perspective. So grab a seat and let's have a conversation. Because I have a mic.
Oh my God, you're here. Welcome to I Have a Mic. I'm Adese. We might have to revamp that, but that would be at the end of this podcast, of this particular episode. So, welcome to I Have a Mic. This is the podcast of all podcasts, the podcast that has never podcasted like any podcast would podcast. Please, you guys should just bear with me, please. I am fidgeting right now. Anyway, you would probably ask why start a podcast, especially because the podcast market is saturated. If you've not asked yourself, please ask so that I can answer you. I've actually had this idea since 2017. If you didn't say please say now. So I've had the idea since 2017. And before 2017, I had a book. Oh no, let me start like this. Before 2017, as early as 2014, I loved radio. So anything radio, I love listening to radio. Like I knew different radio frequencies. I was always listening to them, hearing what's going on. Not necessarily because the topic is interesting, but the fact that more people, plenty people, are listening to one or two people at the end of the mic, at the other end of the mic. It was so interesting to me. So 2014, I had a book. The book was called Dallas FM. So that was my own radio. So 2014, podcast wasn't popular then, like the way it is popular now. So 2014, I had this book, Dallas FM, and it was basically my radio. So I would write things the way you listen to a podcast now, the way the show goes. Yes, I would do that. In fact, I would write things, I would write topics, and I would leave space for my classmates to fill in. So they would read it. It's during purple. Instead of me to be reading during purple, they would read the book and then they would give their reply, or if they want a special number, like they want me to write the lyrics. So 2017 was when the idea of podcast really came to me, and that was when I graduated. So I was talking to my friend Omilaju, shout out to Omilaju. I was talking to him about it, and he was like, start. We were fresh out of secondary school. And he was like, start now. Omilaju, I've started. Oh. um, I really beat myself up because that was 2017 and this is 2025. Now I've started. So I beat myself up every year that you had this idea since 2017. And every year I'm always like, okay, so imagine if 2017 I started or 2018 I started when the market still wasn't saturated as it is now. Maybe I won't have blown, but at least more people would have known me. Maybe I would have gotten more opportunities. But at least I've started, Sha. At least I've started. Also, another reason why I actually started this year was because of books. Fashion Boy. So books also had an idea about fashion in secondary school. And towards the end of last year, he literally just took my Instagram by storm. If you guys don't know books, you can just search at Neo, Neo, or at Unduka on Instagram. You would see him. He gave me that ginger to just start. And also, I have another friend, Laja. Every time I talk on Snapchat, Laja will be my DM like, sure you will not start podcast. You are talking now. Sure you will not go and start your podcast. And it was so funny, but it was like he would if you ask him now, he'd be like he just said it like for saying sake. But to me, someone that has had this idea since 8 years ago, it was another kind of driving force. Laja, thank you too. Shout out to you. This is just basically an intro. Like this is a pilot episode. I just wanted to introduce myself, introduce why I started this podcast. So it's not like as if I started this podcast for there's one money somewhere. Well, if there's money somewhere, I mean, I'm open to it. But like the major reason I started it was because I've had this idea, I've had this love for this thing for as long as I can remember. This is 10 years coming. Yeah, this is 10 years, 11 years coming. So as we go on, as we progress, I would probably find my bearing. For now, you should just know that the podcast is basically my personal journal. So the things that interest me, my work, you should know that I'm a medical laboratory scientist. Well, by the time you hear this, I would probably have inducted, but for now, I haven't inducted yet, but I'm done with school and I've done my convocation. So I'm a medical laboratory scientist. So you'll be hearing about that. That's not going to be the whole idea of the podcast, but that will be part. You'll be hearing about my work or the non-existence of the work. You'd be hearing of just like my normal day and how exactly an average Nigerian lives, the reality of an average Nigerian. I hope you guys stick with me for real. I hope that we get to grow together. I hope the community grows. I'm really grateful that you've even listened up to this point. Someone will be asking me that, okay, you started, you don't even have an idea. Please, please, please. It might be the get started, that be just start syndrome. That's a syndrome now. Anyway, as we progress, like I myself, I want to know if it's the just start syndrome. Maybe that's the reason why I'm here. Or like I said, we'll know along the way. You guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you get to listen to the next episode. I said something about my name. So Adese, that's my name. That's not my full name, but that's the name you should know. We could also use DMT. That's like a nickname. Adese is fine, but DMT is also cool and everything. And the name of the show is I Have a Mic. So I was thinking of something we could do for all the episodes that come after this. It could just be like a little segment of the show where I get to ask, "What do you have?" So, because like name of the show is I Have a Mic, and you guys, the story of how I even got this mic is to be another episode. But yeah, so I have a mic. What do you have? One day, the next episode, I could ask, "What do you have?" And then I'm going to reply because basically just me here. For today, I have a mic. Literally, I have a mic. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for sticking with me up to this episode. This was a bit long. I didn't expect it to be this long. So that's the way that I yap for a living. But don't worry, I hope it gets interesting. It will get interesting. It will get interesting. There'll be more things and YouTube and monetization of on the on the show, hopefully. Thank you guys so much and bye.